in turn, cannot reassure him. He's in the same predicament. Soon the soldier leads him to a tower that will serve as Levi's living quarters for the coming year. It is fully autonomous, equipped with solar panels, a generator, and rainwater collection. Game is plentiful in the surrounding area, and there's even a garden. On the opposite side of the gorge stands an identical outpost belonging to the Eastern Bloc. Levi cannot get there, even if he wants to. The slopes of the ravine are mined and bristling with traps of all kinds, so each side simply does its own job. The work here is simple and suitable for a qualified technician. He must conduct a daily patrol of the western border, inspecting fortified defense points. A connection check with the outside world happens every 30 days. Satellite transmitters are installed all along the border to shield the gorge by sending false signals. Consequently, this place is invisible to spy satellites and reconnaissance drones. There is no communication with the outside world. In a worst-case scenario, there is a panic button that will alert the authorities if something happens. If all systems fail or there's an invasion, the system will initiate the stray dog protocol. Justin doesn't know what that is, but if Levi hears sirens, the best course is to run far away. He thinks it's all tied to the Cold War because each year someone from the west patrols this side while someone from the east watches their own side of the gorge. And for 75 years, no one has ever discovered what's actually inside the gorge. The main objective is not to let whatever's in the gorge get out. A year ago when he took over, Justin also thought his predecessor had gone crazy, but he got to see something the guards dubbed Hollow Men. Justin doesn't know what they really are, though the phrase is taken from a poet's work. Justin knows that in the late 40s, 3 battalions, 2,000 and 4,000 cavalrymen were sent into the gorge to clear it out, but none returned. After that, they switched to a containment system. Justin learned all of this from his predecessor's stories, which may well be a broken telephone version, but the soldier himself believes the gorge is an entrance to hell and they are guarding the gates. The men bid farewell, and Justin heads to the pickup point where a helicopter is supposed to collect him. Soon the aircraft appears in the sky and drops a cable, but as Justin climbs aboard, the pilot shoots him and throws his body down. Then he reports to Bartholomew that the rotation is complete. A month passes. Levi diligently fulfills his duties, going on daily patrols, checking all the weapons, ensuring the mines are ready, then radioing his superiors to report that everything is running smoothly. In his free time, he reads. There are plenty of books in the tower after all. One day he notices a few quotations on the wall, presumably left by his predecessors, dated from past decades. Sometimes he tends the garden, harvesting the last of the season's produce, and one day he hears the sound of a saw from the other side of the gorge. Looking through binoculars, he sees a woman. Drussa also tries to make out her colleague across the way, but when she sees him move away, she returns to her task. That night, Levi wakes from his usual nightmare, jumps up, and grabs his rifle, not realizing he has broken a glass and cut his foot on the shards. Bloody footprints on the floor help him come to his senses. He picks up his binoculars and sees Drussa, who also isn't sleeping. But when she notices his gaze, she extinguishes her candles and moves deeper into her room. Another month goes by. Drussa celebrates her birthday.
What's the difference between dressy casual and business casual?
Both mean leave your cargo shorts and flip-flops at home.
I don't own cargo shorts. I don't own flip-flops. Anything else?
Don't wear your black suit. It makes you look like a mortician.
And then starts watching Levi. Bored, she decides to play a prank. She fires a shot into the air to get his attention. When he reaches for his binoculars, she holds up a sign asking for his name. He warns her that contact is forbidden, but Drussa isn't bothered. She writes her own name and, since it's her birthday, declares she'll do as she pleases. Levi laughs, writes down his name, and suggests they have a drink in her honor. The woman then turns on music and asks him to dance with her, but Levi insists he has no idea how to dance. Drussa doesn't believe him. Surely there must be something he's good at. Levi confesses that he's a good sniper. Drussa wants proof. Levi places his flask on the edge of the parapet, planning to shoot it, but Drussa knocks it off first with her own shot. In response, Levi ruins her bottle of wine with a bullet. Drussa then balances another bottle on her head, showing that he can keep practicing. But suddenly, she loses her balance for a moment and, startled, takes down the bottle, motioning for him to look below. Levi peers into the darkness and soon spots something moving, a strange creature resembling a living tree. He opens fire just as one of these beings steps on a mine and blows up, but others continue climbing the wall. Drussa now opens fire as well, helping Levi shoot down the monsters. Together, they take out several creatures, after which silence falls. But as soon as Drussa steps back from the edge, hands with branch-like fingers grip the ledge and a woody monster crawls over. It keeps moving towards the woman, ignoring her gunfire, and Levi covers her with a shot from his rifle. He immediately realizes that hollow men are also attacking her side of the gorge. So now he fires across to her side, helping the woman fight them off. Mines explode on the edge of the gorge, throwing Drasa aside, but Levi covers her with machine gun fire, just as she'd done for him a moment ago. Finally, the assault ends. They sit in the darkness for a long time, trying to regain their composure. Then Drasa tends a wound she hadn't noticed in the heat of battle and writes that this was the coolest birthday ever. In the morning, Levi inspects his side of the gorge, welding over gaps in the defenses caused by the night's battle and laying more mines. Suddenly, a drone emerges from the gorge below, prompting an immediate reaction from the turret on Levi's side. The man watches anxiously to see what will happen next, but the drone flies away and the gun goes still. Another month goes by. Levi does chores in his spare time, while Drasa plays the piano. Then one day, Drasa sees a lit Christmas tree across the gorge and a holiday message for her. They both build snowmen and name them after each other, as if growing closer that way. They even start playing chess together, calling out their moves to each other in turn. One evening, the pair sets up a real drum battle, using anything they can find as percussion instruments. February arrives. Levi wakes once again from a nightmare and goes out onto the balcony, where the wind is howling. He realizes Drasa is also awake. In the morning, he writes her a note, but she doesn't respond because it's February 14th. She turns on a Bach record and cries, remembering her father. When Levi notices this, he asks what happened. Drasa confides that she's having a difficult day and suddenly wishes he were with her. Levi can't sleep all night, pondering the situation. Then he reads a quote on the wall about the courage of those who've come far and sets to work building a complicated contraption. In the morning, Drasa sees Levi firing a grenade across to her shore with a rope attached, thus setting up a makeshift cable crossing. She runs into the woods, finds the smoldering device, extinguishes it, and ties the rope to a tree. Then she spots a note with an invitation to dinner. Levi tidies himself up and gathers a bouquet of wildflowers, then launches himself off his side of the gorge, zipping along the rope. But he slows before reaching Drasa's edge and must haul himself along by hand, which isn't easy. Drasa invites him to have rabbit pie and he offers her the flowers. He can't help expressing his admiration. Up close, she's even more beautiful. She suggests he wash up in the sauna first, since he's all sweaty from crossing over. Levi laughs, explaining that he miscalculated the tension on the line. Drasa promises to bring him some clothes left behind by previous occupants, but teases him by hanging them a bit too far from the sauna, forcing him to run around naked to get dressed. Later, they have lunch and speculate about where in the world they might be. Both of them were drugged during transport, so they have no idea. Levi can say one thing for sure: they're in the northern hemisphere. He then admits he's a sniper. Immediately, Drasa realizes who he is. His shot in Yemen was the pinnacle of marksmanship. Levi shifts the conversation back to their location. Drasa explains that her father advised her not to learn the whole truth. Levi talks about his childhood in Oregon, where his father taught him how to shoot. That night, they turn on music, and Drasa manages to make Levi dance, noting that